Davy Jones, let me start by saying I get it. The whole eternal curse thing, being chained to the Flying Dutchman, it can get to you. It's a rough gig. You've been at it for centuries now, pulling souls from the depths, ferrying them to the other side. And you've got this menace of the seas reputation. But let's be real. How's that working out for you? All the anger, the bitterness, it's eating away at you more than the curse ever could. Look, you were once a man of passion. You loved Calypso, didn't you? I mean, love that deep. It doesn't just vanish. You felt it, you believed in it. But when things didn't go your way, you turned all that passion into rage, into pain. And I get it, heartbreak stings. But think about it for a second. You're still carrying that hurt around like an anchor dragging you to the bottom of the sea. Is that really what you want? To spend eternity fueled by a love gone wrong? Let me give you a little advice from someone who's seen it all. Forgiveness. You're holding on to that grudge like it's a treasure chest of gold, but it's not. It's just rusted chains. You need to let go of the anger, Davy. Not for her, but for you. It's not about absolving someone else. It's about freeing yourself. You can be free of the torment. You can break the chains that have bound your heart for all these years, and you don't even need a key. You just need to choose it. And don't give me that look. I know what you're thinking. Forgive me after everything. Yeah, you. Believe it or not, no one's beyond redemption. Not even you, with your tentacle beard and penchant for making deals with the doomed. Redemption isn't about being perfect. It's about making the choice to change. It's not a one-time thing either. It's a daily decision, one that can lead you out of the stormy seas you've been sailing through for way too long. Think of it this way. You've been sailing in circles, trapped by your own bitterness. And let me tell you, the scenery hasn't changed, has it? Same waters, same fate, same empty feeling. But if you chart a new course, one towards peace, love and forgiveness, you might just discover there's a whole new horizon waiting for you. I'm not talking about some golden treasure or mystical island. I'm talking about peace, Davy. Real peace. The kind you can't find at the bottom of the ocean or in a chest. You've seen the worst of humanity, right? Men consumed by greed, lust for power, hatred. But Davy, that's not all there is. There's goodness too. There's kindness, mercy, compassion, all things you've forgotten about or, let's be honest, actively avoided for centuries. But those things, they're not weak. It takes strength to show mercy, to be kind. It takes real courage to look at someone who's wronged you and say, I forgive you. So here's what I'm saying. Why not start with yourself? You've done some things, sure. Some pretty terrible things. But holding on to that guilt like an anchor isn't helping anyone, least of all you. You want to be free from the curse? Start by forgiving yourself. Then maybe, just maybe, you'll realize that the real curse was never the one tied to the Dutchman. The real curse has been the anger, the guilt, the shame you've been carrying all this time. And trust me, Davy, that's something you can be free from. Now, I know you're not big on second chances. You've been playing judge, jury, and executioner for way too long. But here's the thing. If you don't believe in second chances, you'll never be able to take one for yourself. You'll stay stuck, chained to the same fate forever. Do you really want that? To spend eternity as a slave to your own bitterness? Or do you want to finally be free? You've got a crew that looks up to you, Davy. You've got men, well, men who are mostly sea creatures at this point, but they follow you. They respect you in their own strange way. But what if you showed them something new? What if you led them not with fear and punishment, but with hope and purpose? You could be a different kind of captain, one who brings his crew not to destruction, but to redemption. Think about it, Davy. You've spent centuries being the terror of the seas. Why not try being the hope instead? And don't think for a second that it's too late, too far gone, right? Wrong. I've seen people come back from much worse. Heck, I've helped people come back from the dead, literally. You think you're a lost cause? Please. If I can make blind men see and raise the dead, I can certainly help you turn your ship around. The question is, do you want to? You see, it's all about choices. You've been making the wrong ones for a long time, sure, but every day you've got a new one to make. Are you going to keep sailing the same old course, or are you going to take a risk and try something new? Sure, forgiveness and love might feel foreign, even weak to you, but they're not. They're the strongest forces in the universe. Stronger than the sea, stronger than death, stronger than any curse. And I know you're all about power, Davy. You love having control, being feared, but here's a secret. The real power isn't in fear, it's in love. When you act out of love, you're unstoppable. Not because people are afraid of you, but because they trust you. They follow you willingly. And let's be honest, wouldn't it be nice for once if someone did something for you because they wanted to, not because they feared what you'd do if they didn't? That's real power. The power to inspire, not terrify. But to get there, Davy, you've got to change. You've got to choose it. I can't force you. That's the thing about free will. It's up to you. I'm just here to point the way. You know the right path. Deep down, you've always known. You just forgot what it felt like to walk it. Davy, let's talk about something you've been running from for years. Love. Yeah, I know. You probably cringe just hearing that word, right? Love. But here's the thing, my tentacled friend. Love is what drove you to do a lot of the things you did in the first place. Remember that? You didn't always have a squid face and a bad attitude. You were passionate, you were fearless, and most importantly, you had a heart. Literally. Now I know you went and locked it away in a chest, but tell me, how's that working out for you? Locking your heart away didn't make the pain go away, did it? It didn't stop you from feeling the hurt, the betrayal, or the rage. If anything, it's made it worse. You can't feel joy without it, Davy. You've numbed yourself to everything. You might think that makes you strong, but it doesn't. It makes you empty. That heart of yours, the one you locked away. That's your anchor. Without it, you're just floating aimlessly, lost at sea. And no matter how fast your ship sails, it can't outrun what's inside you. You've got to face it. But hey, you're not the first one to try and run from love. Trust me, I've seen people do crazier things than turning into a half-octopus pirate captain because they couldn't handle their emotions. It's human, or, in your case, not so human. But you get what I mean. The thing is, love isn't the problem. How you're dealing with it is. And this whole, I'm going to lock my heart away and never love again strategy, it's not working. It never does. Love is a gift, Davy. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. And gifts aren't meant to be locked away or buried at the bottom of the ocean. They're meant to be shared, given freely, and cherished. Now, I'm not saying you have to go write love poems and get all mushy on deck in front of your crew, but you've got to let love back into your life somehow. Start small. Show a little kindness, a little compassion, maybe even for yourself. Because here's the deal, you're worth it. You might not think so, but I know so. You weren't made to live in bitterness. You weren't created to be a monster, Davy. And deep down, you know that. You've just forgotten who you really are. You've spent so long being the terror of the seas, the captain who brings doom and destruction, that you've lost sight of the man you used to be. And that man, he wasn't half bad. A little rough around the edges, sure, but there was good in him. And that good, it's still there. It's buried deep, but it's there. You just have to be brave enough to dig it back up. I know it's scary. Letting go of all that anger, all that pain. It feels like jumping into the unknown, right? You've lived with it for so long, it's become a part of you. But here's a thought. What if that part of you isn't who you really are? What if it's just a mask you've been wearing? The real Davy Jones isn't the heartless captain who revels in fear and suffering. The real Davy Jones was someone who believed in love so much, he gave up everything for it. And that's not something to be ashamed of, my friend. That's something to reclaim. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but how do I do that? How do I find that part of me again? Simple. You make the choice. You stop feeding the anger and start feeding the love. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a battle. but it's one worth fighting. Every time you choose compassion over cruelty, every time you choose forgiveness over revenge, you're one step closer to finding yourself again. And trust me, the world could use a little less Davy Jones, terror of the seas, and a little more Davy Jones, the man who believed in something greater than himself. So what do you say, Captain? Ready to sail towards something new?